congratulations. Directorial debut on Riverdale. Just how are you feeling now, right before the episode airs? Are you excited, nervous, a little bit of both?
I guess a little bit of both. I mean, it was really fun to shoot, and it feels like we just finished. I know it's been a little while, but it's fun to have it come out right away, and I'm excited to watch it with all of the fans tomorrow. I'm going to be doing lots of good social media stuff and sharing behind the scenes pictures and stories and stuff like that. But it was fun. It felt really good. It felt really comfortable to be in the director's seat.
Yeah. And now obviously it wasn't meant to be the finale, but it turned out to become the last episode just because of production, coronavirus, everyone's, dealing with it now. But that being said, how do you feel about it becoming the last episode of the season?
Well, I mean, I just feel grateful that it actually made it in.
Yep.
Because we were it was the last episode that we were able to film in its entirety. We were starting 20 when the shutdown happened. I was 3 days into my 4 days of editing.
Okay.
So thankfully I was able to be in person in the room with the amazing editor, Dan Holland. But then we got word that they're shutting down on set. And so I just sort of thought, well, okay, yeah, that makes sense, but it'll be temporary and, everybody will get back at it, finish it. And then it just, it got longer and longer. So I'm just sort of grateful that my episode made it in. And then I wondered, well, would what's in our episode work as a season finale? I wondered, will they change it a little bit? Is there anything they want to do? And it ended up that the episode stood alone as a great finale. It introduced a new, the stakes were heightened with this auteur voyeur, and it ended up working as a season finale.
And it is a really fun episode too. I think you definitely got to put a fun stamp on it. I have to say, it's a blast to watch, and I think it is a fun way to end the season, even if it doesn't, bring closure.
Right. Yeah.
But a good cliffhanger.
Good cliffhanger. And, to be honest, any season finale that Roberto creates is always going to be hanging.
Yes.
Bring us. So, but yeah, it was a really fun one. It was, I think it felt different. There was a lot of fun stuff we got to do. We got to play with some fantasy versus reality.
Yep.
Got to play out the revenge of the kids against their mean principal. So it was a lot of fun stuff.
And I saw another interview that you did where you talked about Diane Keaton coming and directing an episode of Twin Peaks and how that kind of stood out to you at the time. So I'm wondering, did that make an impact on you? Was it kind of like, or is that maybe when you realized, oh, I can do both?
Yeah, Twin Peaks was like the first real thing that I did. I left out at 16, and then I got Twin Peaks within like a year and a half. And then, that just sent my career on a long arc, thankfully. But it really is important, this big wave of pushing for diversity behind the camera is really important because it put in this little seed in my mind, being able to be directed. We had Leslie Linka Glatter, who's an amazing director, and she's doing so much amazing work on Homeland right now, Gilmore Girls, all kinds of great stuff. And Diane Keaton, I ran into her after we had done Twin Peaks together. But it's when you're shown an example, no matter who you are, you're like, oh, it's possible. I can do that too. And so that, that was there as a little layer as I kind of continued with my career in front of the camera. I always felt like I want to step behind the camera, and I want to, I have an artistic voice that I want to see come to fruition, and hopefully I'll get that chance one day. Yeah. And so years of being in front of the camera went by, and finally I was like, it's time. I think it's time. I'm gonna step behind the camera. I need to do this.
On this episode of Riverdale, how do you think you really got to put your stamp on the episode? What do you think the Mädchen stamp of approval is?
Mädchen stamp was the thing, because I have to give David Lynch a lot of credit. because he was my introduction into filmmaking.
Yeah, which what a way to be introduced.
Right? Like, how blessed am I that he ended up being my mentor, because he never approaches anything with any boundaries. You don't fit into any kind of box. He's just a true visionary genius master. And he just, like, he had told me at one point, he was like, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing because I'm just a conduit for something that's coming through me and coming out into the films I make. And so I have that as my base, because then I left Twin Peaks and went into the real world of Hollywood, which had all of these rules and all of these guidelines and all of these things that equal whatever success. And I remember, like, the next 5 to 6 years of my career, I was like, I just kept hearing, well, you can't do that. You can't do that. Well, you can't do that. And I was like, you can. I was on a show that did it, and it broke boundaries and it changed the rules. Like, you can do it. Yeah. Just have the vision and follow it through. So it was a real learning experience. So I think I've carried that through my entire career, choosing characters. And then now stepping behind the camera, I absolutely wanted to honor the beautiful world that Roberto has created. He's an amazing writer, and he's, like, brought, these comic book, Archie comics to life in such a great way that's so relevant now, and actually classic, timeless, that will last forever, and can apply to the 1950s, and it can apply to probably 2050, So I wanted to honor his world and how he likes to tell his story. But I also wanted to just try to, like, bring some inspiring new ideas and say, hey, how about, approaching this scene like this, or filming it like this. So it was great. And he was super open to it. And I think we got a lot of really fun stuff. But I got to push the envelope with all this fantasy stuff. And I got to pull on my, David Lynch, things that I got to witness.
I think it helps that the Riverdale itself is obviously inspired and an homage to Twin Peaks as well. It all comes together. The Riverdale cast and crew been finding, weird ways or fun ways to maybe keep tabs on each other now.
I mean, I've been making sure to reach out to everybody and check in with everybody. Yeah. Lily and I continue to have a close relationship, and we text with each other. We were just texting last night, just checking in. How are you feeling? How are you doing this? I have a group chat going with all of the moms on Riverdale, everybody, Tina, Molly, Robin, Natalie. We're all, like, in this, hot mom group chat.
Nice.
So we check in together. Yeah, we share. There was a point where I felt like I had watched everything and I was stuck. I wanted to, like, stream something new, but I didn't know what to look for, because it's old when you're looking through the suggested.
It just becomes page after page of posters.
So I was like, lady, help me out. I need something new to watch. So actually ended up watching Honey Boy, the film Honey Boy.
Oh, I have not seen it. No, I haven't seen it yet, but I have heard good things.
Very good. Very, very good. So, we're all finding creative ways to stay in touch.